are kind of awake, but super excited to perform for you today. You were an excellent audience last week for the orchestra and chorus concert, and I know it will be the same. About sleeping, yes, maybe it's a little early, but with the amount of students that are going to be playing at you, it's going to be hard to sleep. So hopefully you'll hear something you like and stay awake. So at this time, I'm going to ask you to quietly, please stand while we play the national anthem. This is 6th and 8th grade band. I have all the 6th graders are up here, and most of my 8th graders are up here helping out. I always tell them, if we don't play the Star Spangled Banner right, everybody's going to be like, oh no, because everybody knows that song, right? If we don't play it the right way, you're going to be like, oh, the rest of the concert's not going to be so hot. But they did a great job with that. We do have, as I've said always two things I always say, lots of drummers. So I have to switch them around between each song. Teachers, I apologize because that gives a little downtime. I'm really sorry. Be glad you're not Miss Oz and Miss Berman in the back with the drums, because they're back there switching them. Do you want to check? These are called timpani. I have to tune these to make sure they're okay. Let's try it again. Just give us 1 minute. Christian just started to learn how to do these this year, so let's give Christian a round of applause. teachers are sitting back there. Some of these kids are going to come sit back there because they're going to come back on stage, okay? So I'm going to send my 6th graders back there. 6th graders. So we're going to switch kids and we're going to bring the next group out. So give us a few minutes. We'll be right back. Come on, guys. Thank you. And again, we have a couple different groups that play. I'm sorry, we have to switch back and forth. This group's going to play quite a few songs for you, so this is our 7th and 8th grade band. They're going to play 3 pieces, and I'm going to bring some strings out to play along with us. Our first piece is Feel This Moment by Pitbull featuring Christina Aguilera. I don't know if you guys know that one, but it also has, for the older people in the audience, like myself, way old, Take On Me by Aha is mixed in there also. So, again, this is called Feel This Moment. Did Bohemian Rhapsody. Do you remember that one? Right. And what group made that song famous? You remember? Remember she telling you somebody said Queen? Queen, right? Freddie Mercury? Well, we are also going to perform a Queen song for you. This is my very favorite Queen song. Bohemian Rhapsody, I mean, gets a lot of, it's not my favorite. This one is my personal favorite. Again, I have to make sure all my drums are up there. It is called, and it's actually funny in this arrangement, well, band funny. It ends with Bohemian Rhapsody. The person that arranged this for the band to play tagged it with Bohemian Rhapsody. You're going to hear the flutes played at the end. But this is Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. because I didn't want to make him nervous. So, Evan Goodwin, please stand up. You play the alto saxophone solo. Okay, so in honor of our school musical this year, Beetlejuice, I decided I wanted to play a song from Beetlejuice, so we're going with Jump in the Line. I know you like that experience. So I'm sure you know this, maybe you don't know it as that, but again, this is from Beetlejuice. Well, it used to be Beetlejuice, originally it was not, but they used it now. Again, I know you're going to like it. Sounds good? I didn't want to say that either, but Charlie had a tuba solo there all by himself. I'm sure you heard it. It was like got really quiet, and then Charlie played. Great job, Charlie. It doesn't help that I put him on the end so everybody can see him. All right, strings. Where are the up? They're coming on. Our next piece, we're going to have the strings join us. 6th grade, you're coming up next, okay? You're coming back on stage next, 6th grade. This piece is called Armed Forces on Parade. We like to play this in the concert to honor and remember all our men, women, family, friends, relatives that were anyone who was in the armed services and So we played one from the Marines, the Army. This year we added the Air Force in because I play this every year. Miss Oz and I like to do this one every year. We didn't have the Air Force in there, so we wanted to add the Air Force and then the Navy. So, and this features our select strings. You saw the string players come on. So this is called Armed Forces on Parade. Thank you to every teacher, because I know all of you let these kids out to Miss Oz, myself, Dr. Nelson at some point to come work with us, and we appreciate that, because we would never be able to do what we do without that help from you. So, my colleagues and teachers, please let's give them a round of applause. And you guys. Yesterday was the first time that, as Miss Oz said last concert, yesterday was the first time they were all here, and believe it or not, some of them weren't here, because they were absent or they had to do something. So, it's always kind of a fly by the seat of your pants thing. And this is every single kid I have up on stage, so the stage is being like, we're pushing the limits here. We're going to play two pieces for you. Fun. The first one, usually I don't have this many bell players. You know what the bells are? Over there? This year I have 7. So we had to like dig up some old bells from, I found them in the back corners of the band room. And our first piece is a really fun piece called Mallet because they play mallet percussion. They're considered percussion, but they're mallets. Mallet maniacs. Mallet maniacs. We call them maniacal mallet maniacs, which is, I know it's repeating maniacal maniac, but anyway, I know you're going to like this one. It has a lot of fun things in it. Mallet maniacs with the whole entire band. I'd like to thank my department, Dr. Melson, Ms. Oz, thank you guys very much. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to handle all this. So thank you. So, just to give you a little bit of perspective, I have 50 students that play drums. 50. So 25 of them, about 25 are on stage, and now we got to flip them and put the other 25 up on the stage. So our last piece, I come to school every day on this song. I'm sure some of my teachers will agree with me. This piece is by Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, called Crazy Train.